Hello guys, my name is Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net and welcome back to your Jazz Guitar Toolbox. In this edition, the 2.1, we will be looking at essential chords you need for playing jazz guitar to apply on standards, of course. So there are 6 chord types. Number 1 will work on major 7th and dominant 7th, 6th, so major with a 6th, minor 7 flat 5, and diminished 7th. So what we will be doing in this video, so that's 12 chords in total, right? So we'll do 6 chords, but we'll do a root from the bottom string and then a root from the 5th string. So your E and A strings will become bass notes. And what we'll be doing is show everything from root C. And the important part here is that if we play a minor 7 chord, then with the 6th chord that's still from root C, you get to compare the different shapes, right? And towards the end, I'll go over different ways you can practice those. I have practice tips so you can really apply this and get this into your playing. So let's get going with the chord shapes. All right, 6th string root. Notice we are starting with our 6th string. Our C note is here, and this is C major 7. Here's how it sounds. Notice, for beginners, you might look at those 3 notes as a sort of a tiny A minor shape. Next chord is C7, so you will play it like this. Notice that if you are playing with a pick again, you need to ensure your 5th string is not ringing. If you're playing fingerstyle, then that's not a problem, you just don't pick that note. Then let's move on to C6 here. So notice how this is a soft sort of major sound, and our A note is here. Notice how I use my 2nd finger root for this one. 2nd finger, and then index, and then pinky and 3rd finger. Our next chord is C minor 7, which I will finger like this. Notice that all the notes are in the same fret, so it's fret 8, 8, 8, 8. Once again, be mindful not to touch that string, or else it will sound. And this is not what we're looking for. We're looking to play strings E, D, G, and B. All right. Next chord, take that C minor 7 shape and lower that top note. Sorry, you're seeing the sweat, really sweaty fingers. Seeing the sweat on the fretboard. So the G note here goes down to a G flat, and you keep everything else the same. So you have to reconfigure, start from here and go like this. In this case, you will notice back at a C minor 7 where I use only one finger to bar all of this at once. And now you can't do this anymore, you have to go here. Notice how this shape on the top without the root is also a small A minor that you've probably learned in your beginner guitar lessons. And our last chord is the diminished 7th, which will require a partial bar from your index. You will place your index in fret 7 like this, then fret 8. Your 2nd finger still has the root. Again, be mindful when you strike, not so we don't hear this string. Good, and that's it for our 6th string roots with the bottom E string. All right, now that we've covered the bottom string as our root, what we'll be doing for the bass note is going to migrate to your A string. For this one, we'll have 4 adjacent strings, so strings A, D, G, and B, meaning your string 5, 4, 3, 2. And let's get going with the exact same chord qualities as we've done for the C chords. Once again, let's start with C major 7, and it's played like this. You guys, if you've played rock and blues and pop music, you probably know this bar shape to play a C chord. Now, remember, you sort of have this tiny triangle here. And that's because we have our B note here. It's a pretty easy chord to finger. Now let's move to C7, so it's a dominant 7. You simply have to remove this finger and bar your index. This is likely that you've already played this chord. Then our next chord, we'll have to use the 2nd finger on our root again, so it's a C6th, which in some instances can be a bit of a stretch between these 2 fingers. So you have your C, and then you have your D here, and then you have your A and your E, like this. It's a C6. Now moving on to C minor 7, I'm sorry. Go back to your bar, actually, and it's a very similar shape as our C7, right? Like this. And then moving on to our C minor 7 flat 5, it's the same as C minor 7 except we flat 5. Notice how you need to use your 4 fingers for this one Alternatively, you can bar your index and do it like this. Same 4 notes. And our very last chord is the C diminished 7th, which resemble what we had on the 6th string. So simply remember you have your second finger on that bass as well. So for your C diminished 7 and your C6, you both have to use your second finger on the bass. And voila, we have 12 essential jazz guitar chords. So starting with your C root here and here and here and all these chords, and over here, you have all the stuff that you need to start playing chords, comping on standards. All right, guys, let's talk about the practice tips. Now, if you're totally new to this material and you're a beginner, it might be overwhelming to look at 12 different things, which are 6 things and different fingerings and technique. Where should you start? Or even if you're brushing up, you know, you might be a blues player or a very advanced folk player, but you've never been in touch with the jazz world. Step number 1 is always go and apply this stuff on tune. So go to the website. You can type in jazzguitarlessons.net/blog/autumn leaves, something like that. You will find Autumn Leaves, Summertime, Days of Wine and Roses, all the things you are, Giant Steps, whichever tune you like. Grab the sheet and just look at the chords and use these shapes that you've learned by following the chord progression. That's simple. Now, if you gave this a try and it's too challenging for you to pick up a fake book or look at sheet music and start comping, I've put some sort of stuff for you in a PDF on the blog that's associated with this video. And the point is this: it will help you work your way through famous and really common ways chord transition from one another. And also I've done this through keys that are familiar, so F, B flat, and E flat, the keys that jazz players play, because it's a horn player's game, right? The guy like the trumpet and sax, they will want to play in B flat and F. And just there's an example that I put on the blog here that starts with a B minor, and it shows you how you can go from here into here into here into here and use all these shapes. So just in that same example, use 1, 2, that's the same as the first one, 3 and 4. So within a few bars you have like 4 different shapes out of our 12. So it's a good place to go if you want to download that PDF. And lastly, do not forget to use your ears. That'll be my last step. When you pluck a chord, you're like, oh, right, that's C major 7. Really dig in and listen to how it sounds, almost in a way, almost emotionally. You can associate the sound with a visual, so on your fretboard, but also people will deem, say, this chord, it's much brighter than this chord, right? So try to associate and really listen for the different notes, the different feelings and the different analogies and different vibrations you get between the notes that sound, and that will give you a sort of it's like your paintbrush for playing chords, right? When you have a feeling that's associated with it. So on that note, that's it. I hope this toolbox was helpful. Please do let me know if you have any questions in the comment below. Hit the subscribe button here and the little bell so you get notified when we publish new content. And once again, my name is Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher, and I will see you soon on the website. Take care.